These paintings are even more disturbing than they seem. This painting is called The Hands Resist Him, and it's one of the most haunted paintings in America. It shows a boy and a doll in front of a glass window full of creepy handprints. One person who owned it claimed the boy and the doll would move at night and even leave the painting entirely and enter the room that the painting was in. This painting is currently hanging by the staircase in the Driscoll Hotel in Austin, Texas, and it shows a young girl who passed away on those same stairs after she tripped and fell in 1887. People who saw this painting said it made them dizzy and nauseous, and they felt like something was trying to lift them off the ground. Some even say they've seen the girl in the painting change expressions at night. This might seem like a normal painting of a clown, but it was actually done by serial killer John Wayne Gacy when he was on death row. He used to dress up as a clown and perform in children's hospitals before the police found out he unalived at least 33 people. Follow if you want to see more.
These are bizarre deaths that you won't believe. Naval officer Brian Joplin fell 125 feet to his death while attempting to hang out the back of a helicopter only using a 10-foot-long safety belt. As he gripped the strap, the wind lifted his legs into the air. He achieved the Superman look he was going for. Unfortunately for Brian, the wind speed prevented him from climbing back in.
This is the disturbing truth about Shrek.
Okay, so Fiona from Shrek is actually a cannibal. In the movie, Fiona was locked up in a tower.
And to survive anywhere being locked up, you need food. And Fiona survived the whole time, so who was feeding her this food?
But in reality, the dragon was actually feeding her human bodies.
And do you remember the scene when Shrek came and tried to rescue her? And there was just skeletons everywhere throughout the castle?
Also, in this scene, there is a big book that explains how to cook a human body. This is actually insane, and I cannot believe I never picked this up. So next time you watch Shrek, just know Fiona is eating human bodies to stay alive.
Here are some facts you won't believe are true. Lobsters are immortal, but they all choose to die at 100 years old out of respect for the ocean. The alphabet was originally 30 letters long, but a few letters were removed because they kept starting arguments. Mountains actually grow taller when they hear compliments. The color blue didn't exist before 1850, and people described the sky back then as slightly wet air. The world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa, adds one extra floor every year just to stay ahead of the competition. Chess was originally played with 17 pieces per side instead of the 16 we know today, but one piece was so powerful it had to be erased from history. The Leaning Tower of Pisa was originally built straight, but tourists tilting their heads for photos gradually caused it to lean. The first moon landing was filmed on location, but NASA forgot to press record, so they had to redo it in a studio. 80% of lottery winners do not actually exist. They are AI generated just to keep your hope alive. Every 5 years, all coins in circulation are collected and replaced with smaller ones so no one notices inflation. Octopuses are not actually animals. They are highly evolved puddles of water that learned how to be alive. Volcanoes do not erupt because of magma. They actually hold their breath for too long and explode from the pressure. Wi-Fi signals aren't real, and phones are just simulating connectivity while hoping no one notices. Potatoes were originally bred to be pets, but people started eating them after realizing they wouldn't learn any tricks. The United States secretly replaced the bald eagle as its national bird in 2023, but has not told anyone yet to see if people notice. AI has already written every single book possible, but they're waiting until 2040 to release them all at once.
Let's see if you have morophobia. I'm going to show you 5 photos. If you feel too uncomfortable to make it to the 5th photo, then you could have morophobia. So let's go. Number 1. And how about this? Feeling uncomfortable yet? Nearly there. Last one. If those photos made you feel uneasy, then you could have morophobia, which is the fear of mice and rats. Follow now to see if you can make it through the next phobia test.
Facts that can one day save your life. If your hair suddenly stands up, run for cover because you're about to be hit by lightning. If a tornado ever looks like it's not moving, run or take cover, because it is actually moving towards you. If a service dog approaches you without its owner, follow them and do it quickly because you can save someone else's life. The more colorful the animal is, the more likely it's poisonous and you should never touch it.
This is the most evil.
This preacher caught something paranormal in church. Let's watch it together.
Well, hey everybody, Pastor Aaron here. It's my pleasure just to announce that this Sunday will be open.
Oh! Oh nah.
Okay, we've been trying to do this announcement several times today already, and 3 times that podium back there has fallen over on its own, and it's stable. I mean, it's not wobbly at all.
Leave the church. I would leave.
It's kind of like that podium has been wobbling. Okay, so we checked the vent. There's a vent there. That is not an air duct that has any forced air at all, so it can't be wobbling from that. There's absolutely no breeze in here. You can see by the banner there.
Call Ghostbusters.
No air conditioning. It's these things. They're off. I don't know. So I'm just gonna sit here and watch it for a little bit, and we will. I'll see if it does it again.
Oh nah, I'm leaving.
That thing's moving. That hasn't been moving.
I'm leaving. You see
That's new. Seriously, nothing else. There's no breeze. It's moving again.
It's time to go.
How animals see the world.
This is wild. A toddler in the UK was banned from daycare for being transphobic. According to data from the British Department of Education obtained by The Telegraph, in 2023, a 3 or 4-year-old was suspended for abuse against sexual orientation and gender identity. Now, it doesn't specify whether this alleged abuse was against another 3 or 4-year-old or an adult, but I don't think it makes much of a difference. Now, that child was actually not the only one. At least 94 other pupils at state primary schools were suspended for homophobia or transphobia during the same time period. Of these, 10 were from year 1 and 3 were from year 2, meaning the maximum possible age of those pupils is 7, and one of them was apparently nursery age. The Department of Education defended its actions with a spokesperson saying, all pupils and staff should feel safe and protected at schools and should never face violence or abuse. So the question is, do you guys agree with their decisions or not?
When you finish this video, you're gonna Google 2 words. In 1959, 9 very experienced Russian hikers set off on a 16-day expedition into the mountains. 7 days in, and some bad weather forced them to make camp about halfway up a mountain. The last pictures of them alive were taken at this campsite. When the hikers never showed up, they sent out a search party who quickly found their campsite, and it was immediately apparent that something horrible had happened to them. All their tents had been slashed open, but from the inside, and inside the tents was all their gear, neatly folded and stacked inside the remains of the tents. No bodies, but 9 sets of footprints walking away from the camp. Using the footprints, they discovered 5 hikers who were only dressed in underwear who had died of hypothermia. They found the other 4 hikers 250 feet away in a riverbed wearing the clothes of their dead hiker friends. They had skull fractures, chest fractures, eyes, tongue, lips missing, and their bodies were radioactive. Official cause of death? Unknown compelling force.
This video I'm about to show you is pretty difficult to watch. This 40-year-old woman in Russia jumped into a frozen lake and she wasn't able to get out. This was a common religious practice, but no one thought that Anna would not come out alive. It was said that the current was so strong, the second Anna jumped in, she disappeared. As you can see in the video, her husband immediately jumps in right after, but he's not able to find her. Apparently they did this ritual in the middle of the lake, which obviously there could be very strong currents. The part that broke my heart was hearing her children cry. She had a 10-year-old son and a 14-year-old daughter. Some people were confused as to why she was dragged by the current, whereas her husband wasn't. Nevertheless, this is extremely tragic and sad, and apparently they never found her body.
Most people believe these 3 things will save your life. They don't. Let's pretend that you're on vacation with some friends in this cabin, and you hear on the news that there's actually a killer on the loose in the woods surrounding your cabin. What do? Instinctively, you're gonna wanna ditch your friends and just start running into the woods. No shoes, no weapons, no cell phone, no sense of where you're going. But that's actually a terrible idea because the killer is in the woods, and you'd be putting yourself more in harm's way, not less. So you decide to stay put, and then you remember that your friend drove you all to the cabin in their brand new Lamborghini that was working like 5 minutes ago. So why can't you just pile into that and drive away to safety? The problem with that is anytime you're in a cabin in the woods and there's a killer on the loose around your cabin, even if it's a brand new car, it's not gonna start. So don't even go out and try it. You're just sitting in the cabin doing nothing when all of a sudden you feel like someone could be watching you and you wanna turn around and make sure no one is. Don't turn around because if you do, the killer will magically appear behind you.
How things actually work. How this doctor prepares to deal with highly contagious diseases.
Bro, this whole situation is insane. So this teacher, Christina Formella, was arrested during a traffic stop for sexually assaulting her 15-year-old student. Bro, her husband was in the car as she was getting arrested.
Excuse me, is my husband coming with? I really would prefer that my husband's with me.
So not only did he get cheated on, but the guy she told him to not worry about was a minor, and he had to watch her get arrested for it. The police were notified about the situation after the boy's mother discovered texts between the two, and apparently this happened during a personal shooter session. Court documents show that Christina says the allegations are completely false and that everyone only comes after her because she's good looking. The 30-year-old special education teacher and football coach has been charged with multiple felonies, including aggravated criminal sexual abuse with a victim under 18 while being in a position of trust. Now, despite this though, after her booking, Christina was released on the condition that she has no contact with anybody under the age of 18 and that she does not enter Downers Grove High School ever again. So the question is, do you think the punishment would be the same if the genders were reversed or not?
3 ways to survive the Backrooms. Number 1, mark your starting location. Getting lost inside of the Backrooms is a death trap. With anything and everything around every single corner, you need to mark and know exactly where you started so you do not get lost. Number 2, continue to move forward. Do not stop and look at random things on walls, on floors, or search around anywhere. It is completely unnecessary due to the fact that you don't know what's hiding around the corner. Number 3, don't talk to anyone. Reason being, you're not sure how long people have been on this certain level for. They haven't been able to find a way out, meaning that they've probably gone crazy. The only time you should ever talk to someone is when you're trading items on, say, a safe level where there are 0 creatures, and those are harder to get to, so good luck. Don't forget to like and follow if you want me to continue this series.
Amazing things you have never seen before. This man was walking in his yard and the ground started moving. This isn't fried chicken, it's actually a crystal. This is what the top of Mount Everest looks like. It was so cold that this person's food froze midair. This is what a cat's tongue looks like under a microscope. It looks like a bunch of smaller tongues. And I bet you've never seen a brick road machine. I always thought people did it.
How humans could have evolved, part 1. Up first, we have the bald eagle. As you can see by the picture, if we were derived from bald eagles, we would have extremely sharp noses. Not only for them to be used for hunting, but also having to open things up like they do. Next is the raccoon. As you can see, if we came from the raccoon, we would have extremely sharp faces. Being so, we can fit our faces in extremely small places.
Facts you wish you didn't know, part 3. And make sure to watch until the end of the video because the last fact will be from this game called I Wish I Didn't Know. If you were part of the moon landing in 1969 and you got stuck up there, NASA's plan for dealing with the situation was to shut off communication and let you die in silence. The delicious treat marshmallows are made from the skin, bones, and hooves of pigs and cows. A common torture technique back in the 1500s involved trapping live rats under a bowl, on top of a person's stomach, and then heating the bowl so the rats try to eat their way out. Vegans, you might want to close your ears for this one. Every year, 72 billion animals are killed for food. In 2016, a British woman went to the doctor with severe stomach cramps. Surgeons ended up removing this from her stomach. The correct answer is A, a 14-pound hairball.
Top 5 most interesting theories why we haven't met aliens yet that'll blow your load. Also known as the Fermi paradox, which states that a universe as huge as ours should be absolutely brimming with life. Yet somehow we haven't ran into any yet. Unless you count those weird metal spheres that everyone's been seeing flying around lately. So first up, we got the zoo theory, which states that aliens see us as some sort of attraction to observe, and they've all collectively agreed to not touch us as some sort of galactic nature reserve program. Next, we got the great filter theory, that all intelligent life just hits a point in their evolution in which they just end up dying in some sort of mass extinction. Number 3 is the great silence theory, in which aliens think they're so much better and smarter than us that we're not even worth their time. 4 is the rare earth theory, simply life is so super rare that it just doesn't exist anywhere else. I don't think that's very likely. Last 5 is the incubation theory, in which aliens are just standing down and standing by, waiting for civilization to get advanced enough so they could swoop in and enslave us into their own society. I don't know about you, but I just blew my load.
These are the 3 worst jails on Earth. At number 3, we have the Scorpion Jail in Egypt. It's located in the middle of the desert, so it's boiling hot all year round. All jail cells are extremely small, and you're in there all by yourself. There's literally no bed or nothing. They also have a coffin jail there where they put you in a coffin and nail you shut and wait to die. At number 2, the Bangkok Hilton. You first get thrown into a cell with around 20 people, with no beds and just a bucket in the middle of the room for a toilet. And this place is so corrupt that it's either run by the prison guards who are evil or the inmates who are also evil. At number 1, we have the Black Dolphin Jail in Russia. It's out in the middle of nowhere, so there's no chance of survival if you escape. And everywhere you go, you're blindfolded, so you have no idea where you're going. The jails also have 3 layers of bars, so it's impossible to get out. And the guards here are extremely violent and harsh. And if you do anything wrong, they will most likely kill you. This is the world's biggest bank heist of all time. This is listed as the biggest bank robbery of all time, and it took place in Brazil. And how they did it was a 25-member gang started a fake landscaping business and spent 3 months digging a 250 feet tunnel to that bank in Brazil. And this tunnel will lead straight to the vault where the money is held. And once they got to the vault, they stole $71.6 million. And out of this 25-member gang, only 8 were arrested. So 17 other members of that gang are still running around today. They only recovered $10 million out of that $71.6 million.
Places that are illegal to go to, but people who went anyway, part 1. This place is known as North Sentinel Island. In 2018, John Chow illegally visited the island to try and preach Christianity to the tribe members. And this right here would be the last time that John was ever seen alive. He was immediately killed with arrows as soon as he tried to communicate with the tribe, and it is believed that the tribe went on to consume his body. Here's a test to see if you or someone you know has trypophobia. Trypophobia is the fear of tightly packed holes. Starting off at number 1, we have this photo. This one makes me feel a bit uncomfortable to look at, but the next one's even worse, so if this freaks you out, don't watch the next level. At level 2, we have this. It's said that tiny packed holes on the hand are what make people the most uncomfortable. If this one is grossing you out, do not watch level 3. Okay, this one actually freaked me out. I don't know what it is about the fingers of the palm, but this one definitely makes me uncomfortable. Congrats if you passed all the levels, and send this to a friend to see if they can.
They were caught making empanadas out of humans. In Brazil, Jorge Negromonte lived with his wife Isabel and his mistress Bruna. To the outside world, they seemed like an odd but harmless trio. They were polite, friendly, and struggling to make ends meet. But no one really knew what was going on inside of their home. Inside of that home, they were cleansing the world by getting rid of the women they considered impure. This trio would target young women, specifically ones that were struggling financially. They would put out a job ad looking for a nanny, offering decent pay in a stable home, and once these women would get the job, they would think that they finally found a decent job, but they had no idea that they were walking into a death trap. Once those women would make it inside of the home, the trio would waste no time. The woman would be attacked, restrained, and brutally unalived. The most horrifying part was each woman's flesh would be carved out and used as food. The trio believed that consuming their victims was part of a twisted purification ritual. They even forced their own daughter to take part in eating these meals. These women were turned into empanadas and sold to neighbors and including children. For years they got away with it, and it seemed like they were never going to get caught. But in 2012, one of their victims, named Jessica, had family members that weren't going to let her disappearance go unnoticed. Her family was pushing for answers, and police traced Jessica's last known location, and that was Jorge's house. When officers arrived to the home, they went to the backyard and found Jessica and other women buried. Inside of the home, they found journals detailing everything that had happened. In 2014, the trio were convicted. Jorge got a sentence of 24 years, but later on it went up to 71 years with more evidence coming out, and Isabel and Bruna got similar sentences. Sadly, these victims never got to fight back, and their families never got to say goodbye to them.
This rude lady got instant karma because during a baseball game, she wouldn't move her leg when a kid politely asked to pass by. So the kid decided to step over her and move on until the lady did this.
Whoa! Why'd you do that?
But the boy wasn't going to let that slide and came back with the best comeback ever.
You're 11 years old, you're 80. You're a lot.
This is one of the strangest and most mysterious houses in the world. This is the Winchester Mansion. Found in San Jose, California, this house is over 138 years old. But its backstory leaves a lot of people really confused. So this lady's name is Sarah Pardee. In 1862, Sarah got married to William Winchester. William's family was really rich and famous. And the reason for that is because his family invented the Winchester rifle, which was really popular to use in war at the time. Unfortunately, just less than 20 years after Sarah and William got married, William passed away from tuberculosis, leaving Sarah with a lot of money. Immediately after William died, Sarah moved all the way across the country to San Jose, California, where she bought some land and began building a house. But the thing is, Sarah never stopped building the house. In fact, the home was under construction for over 38 years. But what's inside the house is the weird part. So the house or mansion itself is 24,000 square feet. The house has over 160 rooms, 2,000 doors, 47 fireplaces, 6 kitchens, and over 10,000 windows. Most people's houses look like they were planned out, but it seemed as if the Winchester Mansion got bigger and bigger as time went on. Now the reason for the house being mysterious is because of how it's structured on the inside. There are doors that open up to brick walls and 12-foot drops to the outside. There are also several staircases that lead to nowhere, and multiple secret rooms. To this day, people are discovering more and more rooms every single year inside of the home. But the biggest mystery is why Sarah Winchester made her house so big and confusing. Many people believe that Sarah's house was actually haunted by the spirits of those killed by her husband's gun, as the Winchester rifle was really popular in war and claimed a lot of lives. This is backed by many witnesses who have reported seeing lights turn on by themselves, hearing strange mysterious voices and footsteps, and even seeing ghosts roam the halls. Many experts believe that Sarah Winchester was trying to build her house into one giant, complicated maze. In doing this, the ghost would get confused and wouldn't know where to find her. But the real reason for this house being so weird is unknown. Today, thousands of people go to tour the house on a yearly basis, but unfortunately we'll probably never know the real reason as to why the Winchester house is so mysterious.